And the way to get to where you want to go, oh my goodness, is to be yourself. It's such simple advice and we hear it all the time. But the reason we keep hearing it all the time is because we're probably not doing it, at least not fully. Because if you're living your life only to please other people, you're not going to be happy. You breathe so much easier when you're following the path that you know you want to follow. This is the Energy Within podcast, all about accessing, nurturing, and building your energy and confidence so that you can get unstuck and design your life the way you want. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki master, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys, and this is episode 111 and angel number podcast. I feel like I should have prepped a little more for today because it didn't dawn on me until I sat down to record that it was episode 111. But if you need a sign, there it is. But I think what I have decided to talk about today is going to be helpful. So first of all, you've probably noticed, let's just acknowledge that my voice is pretty much all the way back. Almost. There's a little bit of scratchiness still in there, but I can talk again. So that's really good. And I'm going to apologize in advance if I repeat myself at all from last week, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth and in a little bit different direction. So first of all, I don't know how you're feeling, but let's first acknowledge that technically Mercury retrograde is over. I didn't know anything about a shadow period until I started this Reiki journey, but I believe the shadow period is over. But yet everything is still so wonky and kind of heavy and just weird. And I feel like I'm not the only one who's felt that. Other people that I'm friends with, other people that I follow on social media have been talking about pretty much the same thing. And the biggest example I can give you of how off I feel is last week I felt like I was doing pretty okay, actually. I started a couple weeks prior to that, and I may have mentioned this last week, but I've been in such an up and down that I don't remember. So again, if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But I started a 40-day Kundalini challenge, and I think it's called Gyan Chakra. I should know the name for sure and how to pronounce it by this point because we're on like day 14 on the day that I'm recording this. But you have to do this one Kriya every day for 40 days. Every time you do it, it's 11 minutes. So not that long. It's very tolerable. And I always feel good when I'm done. But it's 11 minutes of circling your arms around your head in kind of this infinity motion, like making a little halo around your head. And you're not supposed to bring your arms below your heart for the entire 11 minutes. I can tell you, I feel like my shoulders are getting a lot stronger. But part of what this Kriya is supposed to do is attract abundance and prosperity and things like that. And, just make your energy more exuberant, for lack of a better word. And I felt like things were going pretty well with that, actually. I was seeing quite a bit of abundance coming in, and technically I still am. But I felt a dip in my energy in the last couple of days. And I don't know what exactly sparks it, but last week, Friday, I decided that the bathroom sink really needed to be cleaned. And I also looked up at the lights and figured that the lights and probably above the medicine cabinet needed to be dusted because it was probably going to be gross. And that led to the entire rest of my night. I just continued cleaning and I pretty much literally deep cleaned almost the entire house. There's literally only a couple of things that I didn't do that I still actually planned to do. It was late. I wanted to get to bed. And then something about that completely zapped my energy. And I was expecting that because the house was more clean, energy had been shifted, that I would be feeling more energy. But instead, the last couple of days, daylight savings aside, that didn't help, but daylight savings aside, I have just been feeling so drained, like I'm just dragging. And I don't think it's entirely me. My soul sister Jess told me that it could have been something about shifting the energy, like caused things to move in a way where like now it's making me slow down because of the way things shifted, which I don't think I explained that well, but to me it makes sense. But so then coming into today, realizing that, okay, it's time to record another podcast. I didn't do it over the weekend because I was feeling so draggy. Is that even a word? But I wasn't sure exactly what to talk about. So I decided to pull a card asking what I should talk about. And then that also sparked a little memory of my big realization and something really cool that happened at the end of another challenge that I did that was only for last week. It was a 5-day manifestation Dear Universe challenge with Sarah Prout, who I have mentioned before on this podcast. So if you have not listened to her podcast, it's called Manifest. If you heard me mention it before, her podcast has changed names a few times within even just the last year, but it's still her. It's still the same really focus. But I went to my Angel Tarot deck, and the card that I pulled for what I should talk about today is Awakening, Archangel Gabriel. And the card itself says, look at things from a different perspective, a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. So there's the confirmation on my lack of energy, a temporary standstill, but looking at things from a different perspective. So the book explanation says it's time to review your plans and look at things from a new perspective. Ask yourself, is it possible that a different approach would work better? Although it may feel like events have come to a standstill, this is temporary. So make use of the extra time you've been given to rethink your strategies. You may need to step outside of the norm and the mainstream right now and embrace your unique and eclectic beliefs or attitudes. It's also a good moment to be generous with your time, attention, and gifts. This tithing is returned by the universe manyfold to you. And Archangel Gabriel is the angel who helps people become divine messengers of love. That's pretty cool. And when you speak, think, and act from a place of love, others are irresistibly drawn to you. That is so perfect. It's perfect for me, so I hope that it's perfect for you. And that ties in, not to overuse the word, but it ties in perfectly with what my big realization was and the really cool thing that happened last week at the end of the Dear Universe Challenge. So if you saw my post on Instagram, I, in full honesty, mentioned that I didn't really learn anything new from the challenge. I was open and I was waiting for a light bulb moment or something to trigger that new perspective. And I didn't really get that. But what I did get was a reminder of things that I did already know, but had kind of, in a way, forgotten. Like I wasn't consistently accessing them. And part of that was consistent connection with God, with the universe, making sure that you are plugged in as if the universe is your charging station. And along with that, most importantly, to remember that we are co-creating with the universe. So I am a big believer in owning your power, owning your responsibility, remembering and believing that you are responsible for your reality, that you can shift things, design your life the way that you want. But as true as that is, it is still missing that very important piece to not put it all on our shoulders alone, because we are a piece of the divine. We are a part of the divine. So we are always co-creating, whether we are conscious of it or not. But I believe that the more conscious we can be of it, the easier it's going to be to design things the way that we want, to create the things that we want to create, to have the life that we want to have, if we ask for and acknowledge that support. So looking at things from that perspective that yes, you are fully in control, but you also have help and support and resources in not only the physical realm, but also the spiritual. I hear very often that anything that we want to manifest is created first in the metaphysical before it appears in the physical world. And in order to bring it into the physical world, we need to align our vibration with it. So it's not necessarily about being high vibe, good vibes only, but more aligning with the frequency of whatever it is that we want to attract. And it can be easier to get into that frequency when we align with the divine. Maybe that'll be my Instagram graphic for this one, to align with the divine. The mention in the challenge of co-creating with the universe, and then the constant reminder of practicing gratitude and really being completely and fully grateful, not just going through a gratitude ritual for the sake of going through it, to try to tell the universe that you're grateful, to actually believe it and sit with that and be in that energy. Later that same day, at the end of the 5th day, when we were really talking about co-creating with the universe, my Reiki teacher popped on to Facebook Live inside her group for the first time in a while to do card pulls. And 2 of the 3 cards that she pulled for me were blessed, which I had actually been thinking about and really being focused on how blessed I am, all the abundance that has been coming in, how well things have been going overall. And then the other card that she pulled was co-creating. So confirmation for me that I am in that energy of co-creating with the universe. And the other card, I forget the name on the card, like what the word was, but it was basically about just continuing to do what I'm doing, to continue to stay focused and take action steps. And perhaps tying in with this awakening card that I pulled now, moving forward, continuing to do what I'm doing, but having that new perspective so that I don't get lost in it, so that I don't get stuck, so that I can keep moving forward. So I hope that that resonates for you as well. You really do need to be in that energy of gratitude. And I know it can be hard, especially when your energy is down, especially if your house is chaotic. But if you can do whatever you can to shift that energy and get back into that attitude of gratitude, I'm sorry for the rhyme, but that's just how it came out, then you can stay more in alignment with that vibration that you want to be in. And that will help you have a great starting point to get into the energy of co-creation with the universe. And to take it a step further, to consider that maybe the way that you're trying to go after the things that you want, to create the things that you want to create, that maybe you need to have a different perspective on how you're doing that. For example, if we look at something from a business perspective, marketing, doing things like that, I've been told actually a couple of times, and I saw a recent Instagram post that talked a little bit about how your human design plays into this. And I'm a generator, which I do not know much about. I honestly, when I first figured that out, I was like, a generator? Well, that doesn't sound very exciting. That sounds kind of boring. I don't know if that's me. Like, like, why can't I be a manifester or something more exciting sounding? But regardless, that post, and then other people have told me a couple of times that maybe I'm not supposed to do things the way that other people do them. I'm not supposed to market the way that I've been taught to market. And maybe that's why things don't move as quickly as I would like them to move. So I'm bringing up the post right now, actually, and it starts off, why aren't I scaling to 6 figures by human design type? So if I scroll to generators, so she says, the number one reason I see generators struggle scaling to 6 figures, I'd like to even just get to 5 figures, but just scaling in general. They start their business off by using a one-size-fits-all method, which is fine for basics, but over time it saps their expansive energy and that frequency of frustration blocks their growth. How we fix this? We burn the standard biz and marketing advice that's leaking your energy. Focus on 1 to 2 epic offers, 1 clear marketing message, and a sales attraction strategy that leverages your expansive aura. So what stands out to me there is that burning the standard biz and marketing advice that's leaking your energy. And again, that makes so much sense for me based on how many times I've been told that, that maybe I'm not supposed to do things the way that other people are teaching it. There's nothing wrong with the way other people are teaching it, but me trying to fit myself into all of those standards to fit exactly inside that box without causing any edges or doing things a little bit differently, like maybe that path is not for me, which can get a little confusing for me too sometimes because I can go to the other side where it feels like I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall and I don't have a strategy and I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm just trying to see what fits. But maybe I am getting closer to that path of really figuring out my own path of how to do these kinds of things. So I don't know if it sounds like I'm rambling. I'm hoping that this is helpful and just explaining different examples for you of what areas in your life to maybe look at from a different perspective, to understand that if you're feeling like your energy is drained too, that this is just temporary. And the way to get to where you want to go, oh my goodness, is to be yourself. It's such simple advice and we hear it all the time. But the reason we keep hearing it all the time is because we're probably not doing it, at least not fully. I know I still have a journey ahead of me. It's not like I'm being fake, but I know that there's plenty more potential for me to step into yet. And I just got to start owning it. And so do you. Go back to the last episode. Remember that there is room for you to do exactly what it is that you want with your life. Whether that's a money-making thing or just something that you want to do in your life, period. To just start owning it. And to stop caring what other people think. And not in a rude way, not in a way where you're brushing people off or being confrontational or telling them to their face that you don't give a shit what they think. But more from the perspective of just shaking off that worry. Because if you're living your life only to please other people, you're not going to be happy. You breathe so much easier when you're following the path that you know you want to follow. So if we go back to this card, allow this awakening that's happening to happen. Open your eyes, take a step forward, call in your angels, call in your support team, call on God, the universe, your ancestors, your spirit guides, whoever you feel is part of your spiritual support team, call on them, pray to them, talk to them, ask for support. They are just waiting, itching to help you. But because you have free will, they need you to ask first. They'll do what they can to support you that doesn't interfere with your free will. But for the most part, they're waiting for you to ask. So ask. So I hope that was helpful. I'm sure there's probably more that I can expand on, but I don't want to get too rambly. So I will try to get my thoughts together better for the next episode, but I hope that there were some nuggets that you were able to take away from this. I should be assuming things continue to run according to schedule. The episode that I recorded with Logan, the womb maven, for her podcast, Maven Chats, should be out tomorrow on 11/11. Oh my God, this is episode 111. My podcast episode with Logan on her podcast is supposed to come out on 11/11, but keep your eyes open for that because I will share that on my Instagram and inside the Facebook group when it's up. The reason I say if things go according to schedule is because she is still super pregnant and has actually scheduled an induction for 11/11. So unless baby decides to come on his own before that, and we'll see what happens. But once that episode is posted, regardless of what day it is, I will let you know, because I feel like it was a really fun and awesome conversation that I can't wait for you to hear. I also need to sit down and work through them and figure out all of the details. I know there's one that I need to just do. The other one I really do need to sit down and figure out some details for. But I know I keep teasing that shadow work is coming. I promise it's coming. I'm getting closer. I need to work through my own shadow around doing shadow work for other people. And once I'm ready to launch it, I will do most likely both a podcast and a live video inside the Facebook group to explain what shadow work is, really go in depth on it, and show you how that can help you in your life. But I'm also thinking, I had an idea pop into my head the other day. I don't know that I would run it until January, just because of holidays coming up and, things getting busy and crazy for people. But I was thinking of possibly doing a 30-day challenge that would be a small fee, very small, but each day, these are just my thoughts. This is not solidified, but all right, kid interruption, kids started screaming. I don't remember where I left off, but I was thinking that each day during the 30 days would be it would be quick, it would be really short because of the fact that it's going to be 30 days, but there would be a little bit of Reiki every day and one specific individual focus for that Reiki every day. And I don't know how much more detailed I would get around that, but I feel like I want more beyond just that, where it's going to really help you integrate and shift this energy into your life. So once I figure out exactly where I'm going with that, I will give you more details. If any of that sounds interesting to you and you have ideas that you would like to suggest, please let me know. You can send me a DM. You can come into the Facebook group. And until then, of course, as usual, I would love to invite you to come and do a one-on-one Reiki session with me. The price now for a one-on-one session is $111. In the 111th episode, we announced that officially, although it has been announced on social media, but so one individual session is $111. I am ready to go to offer the packages. I just have to get the page up. So please be patient if it is not up by the time you listen to this, but hopefully I will get my butt in gear and get that up, but I'm ready to go with it. A 3-pack that can be used at your leisure is $298. And then if you are interested in doing one-on-one weekly sessions for a month, so it'd be 4 weeks, and you were committed to meeting once a week, this package that can only be used if you're going to schedule once a week for 4 weeks is $375. So a little bit of a discount with the higher packages per session. And then, of course, there's also the card readings by email. You can do the 3-card, the 8-card. Those are both oracle spreads. And then I also am now offering the Angel Tarot spread, which is the Celtic Cross spread with 10 cards that gets very detailed on whatever situation you are wanting to look into. Those, since they are so detailed and they take so much more time, they are a little more expensive than the oracle card readings. And on that one, you have the option, you are encouraged to do the option to meet over Zoom for the reading, because the length of time that it takes to do it by email is actually a lot longer than it actually would be to do it face-to-face. So you can do either one. I'm totally okay with doing it by email, but that is why the pricing structure is the way that it is, which you'll see when you go to the page. Links for everything that I just mentioned that is live and available and active are in the show notes. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Reach out on Instagram or Facebook, send me a DM, hop into the Energy Within Facebook group if you're not already a part of it. And if you found any of this valuable, helpful, please share it. take a screenshot, do a screen flow, post it to your social media, tag me, and let me know what stuck out to you. Thank you so much, as always, for being here, and I'll see you next time.